Hello everyone, this is Srinivas here. Welcome to Automation Technical Learning, and we are going to continue our class after inheritance. And in this class, we are going to learn about super and final. So these are the two main keywords in Java that we come across very often, and sometimes you may get confused when to use super and when to use final. We will see the main difference and where exactly you can use them. So now, first, let us discuss about super. Super can be used to refer to the variable of the parent class. Suppose you have a parent class declared and that has some variable, and you want to access the variable data or variable value of the parent class. Then you can use super operator in the child class. You can say super dot and you can give that variable name. So this is how you can access super for the to access the variable information. Similarly, if you want to access the method of the parent class, then you can say super dot that parent class method. In the child class, you can say super dot child class parent class method. It will be called. And thirdly, you can use super to invoke the constructor of the immediate parent class. Okay, so you have a parent class and it has a constructor. Let's say it has constructor, and you want to call the constructor of the parent class. Okay, so then you can say super. If you say super in your child class, then it will call the constructor of the parent class. Okay, now let us try all these things in our Eclipse. I'm going to create. So we have a parent class declared already. Let us create a constructor. How do you declare a constructor? Constructor should be of same name as class name. It will not have any return type, but it can have parameters. Yeah. So now let me just for simplicity, I will have this out for this. Just will say that it is calling the animal constructor. Okay, mainly where do we use constructors? We have discussed this. Constructors we will use to initialize the instance variables. So you have all the instance variables. Instead of declaring here like this, you can have them initialized in your constructor. Okay, so here I'll say that animal constructor is called. Okay, so now let us this is the constructor we have, and now let us come back to our doc class, and let us instead doc class, let me create one more class called as human being. Okay, so he is human being animal. Yes, so we'll say human being extends animal. Okay, and now let us just copy some of the methods from doc class, that is print doc details. Instead of print doc details, we will be printing human being details. Okay, and I will also have main, which is copied from the doc class. Okay, so now instead of dog, I am going to replace it with human being. Okay, now yeah, here one second, I think there is something. What it is saying, it cannot make static reference. Okay, yeah, so let us first fill it. I'll say human being has eyes. Okay, human being cannot make a static reference to the non-static method print dog details. Okay, so we have to say HP. Okay, this is the instance variable. Okay, so now we are good. So now let us run and see whether it is in the proper output what we are expecting. So now do you see one thing? Whenever we are creating the object of human being, it is going to call the constructor of human being. Uh, that is not visible here. There is no constructor created, so by default there is one blank constructor that is available, and that blank constructor which is the of the child class will be calling the parent class constructor. Also it will call the parent class constructor. That is why we can see that it is printing animal constructor called. and it is also saying that human being has two eyes, human being has 2 ears. Now let us also print some more methods, some more data. I'll say legs here, legs, and I'll say legs. Okay, and now let us run it. A human being has 4 legs, it is saying, because in animal class we have declared that legs equal to 4 as general, but human being has 2 legs. So but we want to overwrite that value, so we can say here legs, int legs equal to how much? 4, 2. Okay, so now let us run it. Now do we see that human being has 2 legs? Okay, so now this is how we could change the value in the child class if it is of different value. Now let us say that I also want to write from the parent class what that value was there. Okay, let us see our animal class first. Okay, uh, yeah. Okay, so now let us say that I want to print what dog has. Dog, I'll say here dog. No, not dog, animal. Okay, let's make it animal because animal is a parent. Animal has how many legs animal has? If you say legs now, it will print the legs of the human being. So we have to say here super dot. So when you say like this, it will print that way. Similarly, now what all other operations animal can do? Animal can, okay, super dot. Animal can, what all animal can do? Animal can run. Animal can run, right? Animal can okay, yeah, it is a void method, so I'll just give uh, I'll say like this out. Animal can do following. Okay, yeah, so now let us write that here. So I'll say super dot. I'll say now you can see whenever it's a super dot, super is a keyword. I can see that it is printing, giving all the instance variable and the behavior, that is the methods from the super class, that is the parent class. So I can say animal can eat, animal can sleep, and animal can run. Okay, so these are the, this is how you can use super. And now I think we have one more thing that we need to try. We can see the output here, that is super constructor. So now before in human being, let us create constructor for human being. So I'll say I'll create a constructor. I'll say public human being, and I have the non no parameter for the constructor. And here let us say that you want to call super first. Super, that is, it is going to call the parent, and then you'll say that uh, this out human being constructor called. Okay, just to test whether it is going to call the constructor or not. Now let us run this program, and when we run it, we can see that it is printing at the top animal constructor is called because there is a super. So super will call the animal constructor, and then it will call the uh, it is printing the details of the human being. Okay, so now let me comment this super, what happens, and let us see the output. Still it is calling. So what that means is, as I said earlier, whenever you are calling the whenever you are creating the object of the child class using instantiation operator here like this. So whenever you are creating like this, so it is, whenever it creates a new object, it is going to call the parent constructor irrespective of whether you have called or not. So then it will print, it will call your it will have your child constructor details printed. Okay, so this is what happens. So I think we have learned super keyword very well now. And now let us come back and let us learn about final. So there are three things. So final can be applicable on variables, final can be applicable on methods, or final can be applicable on class. So if you declare final as a variable, that means you are going to fix that variable to some value, and you do not want to change the value. So it is, if you say final int equal to 10 in your program, that means you cannot change that int I equal to 10 value to any other value in that program. Okay, so that is final. Okay, so if you try to change, you will get the error from the not compilation, runtime error. Sorry, I think compilation only will get. We can try it. So that is for the final final variable. Now coming to the final methods. So if you declare any method as final, then you cannot override that method. So we will see what is overriding. We have seen overloading earlier in our previous session. So overriding, we'll see. Final, if you declared any method as final, you cannot override those methods. That is overriding technique. And then if you declared any class as final, then you cannot extend it. Okay, so you cannot extend that particular class. Okay, now let us see all these things. So now in my same class, I'll declare int uh, hands equal to 2, but here I'll make it final. Okay, so I have used final operator, and let's say in constructor I'm going to say hands equal to 4. Now do you see that compilation error? It says final field human beings dot hands cannot be assigned because final was mentioned in the instance variable while declaring. Okay, so that is about the final keyword on the instance variable. Now let us create a method. I'll remove this and I'll remove this. Okay, now let us come to animal class. Okay, and in this class let us make one of the method as all these methods are void, and let us make one of the method as public final. Okay, and now I'm going to come to human being. Okay, and in human being, let's say that you want to override the method. What is the meaning of overriding a method? Overriding a method is in your child class you want to change the implementation of the parent class. In parent class you may have implemented that method in a different way, but in child class the behavior is different, so you want to change the implementation. So to change the implementation, how you can do is you have to simply define the method as it is. However you define the parent, you can declare it, and you can change the implementation. Okay, but uh, uh, if it is declared as final, you will not be able to override because it gives the error in the compiler saying cannot override the final method from animal. Now let us do one more thing. Let us say that we want to uh, override the eat method. So now I'll say public void, and I'll say eat. So now let's say here we are going to say system.out.println human being is going to eat food. Okay, so this is the implementation that was successful for eat, but it was not successful for run because it was declared with final in the parent. Okay, that is about final keyword. And finally, if you have declared any class as final, okay, now let's say that I have declared this class as final, so that means you cannot extend that class. So so you don't want anyone to extend your class, and that is the reason why you have made it as final. So then you will get the compilation error. If you are trying to extend, it will say that doc cannot subclass the final class animal. Okay, so this is about super and final. I think you are clear about all these things now. Thanks for watching everyone.